January 2016, the United States of America and the European Union lifted economic sanctions on Iran. And this has put the Middle Eastern country on the global spotlight. The removal of sanctions has various important implications, and it may potentially help revive the global economy. Iran will add to global oil and natural gas production and gain access to its frozen overseas assets amounting to nearly $100 billion. While on the other hand, enterprises and investors around the world will get to tap the Iranian market with a population of more than 80 million people. Hassan Taherian, the Iranian ambassador to Korea, provides insight on the dramatic developments in Iran and the international community, the Iran-Korea relations, as well as Iranian politics, economy, culture, and various other issues.
Today on G Lounge, we have the honor of having with us His Excellency, the Ambassador Hassan Taherian of the Islamic Republic of Iran here in the Republic of Korea. And Ambassador Taherian will be speaking with us about relations between Korea and Iran and the international community and potential in culture, in politics, in economics, and other aspects. It's a great honor to have you here today, Ambassador.
Yes, thank you very much, and welcome to our embassy. And also, I'm very pleased to be in your program.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So you've been here in Korea now for a year and a half. Can you tell us a little bit about your experiences living in Korea?
Just as you said, I'm here this time more than now, just 1.5. And of course, this is the second time that I'm coming to Seoul.
Interesting.
Yes, I had the experience of working here in Seoul from 1980 till 85. So that was 30 years ago almost. So that was my first, and now is the second experience that I'm here. So it means that I'm not unfamiliar with the society of Korea, but as you said, I enjoy working here, and I'm very happy to return back and to work as the Iranian diplomat here. And I have a good time, and we have a very good and friendly relation with the people, the Korean people. They are very kind, humble, and respectful. So we don't have any difficulty. Of course, when we compare Tehran with Seoul, Seoul also is a very large or mega city.
Yes.
And Tehran is a very large city. And I can say that we see some similarity in the traffic jam as well in Tehran and Seoul.
Right. Now, Iran and Korea have had a long diplomatic relations over half a century, and of course, relations that go far back before then. Tell us a little bit about how you perceive the relations today.
Yes, just the diplomatic relation has been established in 1962, so it is more than 50 years that we have a friendly relation with this country. And during these years, we had good relation, and we enjoyed the friendship between two countries. Of course, I can tell you that the existence of the Tehran Street in Gangnam, yes, here, course. And also the Seoul Street in north of Tehran. It shows, or just they are the symbol of the friendship between two countries. No, we are having good relation, and also the political officials in Iran, they have very good view on the South Korea, and we do not see any impediment or hurdle on the way of our bilateral relation.
So recently, the United States and the European Union lifted, after 37 years, a set of sanctions against Iran. Can you tell us a little bit about the process leading up to this, I think, very historic breakthrough, and what are some of the critical issues related to this historic change?
Just actually for that issue, we having in the last 2 years, we have a very tense negotiation with those 5+1 countries. I mean, just the 5 permanent member of the Security Council plus Germany. And the issue is that they, from their side, they are concerned that if the nuclear program that we have in Iran goes towards the weaponization, and we are going to have the nuclear bomb. And from our side, no, we said that we don't want to go to that direction, because we are not believing that the nuclear bomb or just a weapon will bring the security. So it's not in our the security doctrine of Iran. So we don't want. So based on that negotiation, it was in somehow we that was the negotiation that addressed the view or just the concern of both sides. From the first day in the negotiation, we wanted that they will respect and accept the right of Iran for peaceful nuclear program. And the second one was that, okay, just to lifting and removing all the economic sanction.
Can you tell us, like, specifically what the sanctions affected?
Yes, just actually all those sanctions, we say that nuclear-related sanction will be removed. It will include just the oil embargo, just the banking transaction, you know, just the insurance, the shipping, just in all those matters, even for the trade. So there shouldn't be any problem. And these days, it means that after the releasing or just removing of the sanction, the countries, they can just come and to have invest and to have a very normal trade relation and business with Iran.
Right. Now, my understanding is that some parts of the sanctions or some restrictions still remain or have not been fully removed. Can you tell us?
Yes, you are right. I told you that the sanction that it has been related to the nuclear program, it has been released and removed. But there are some other sanctions that bilaterally United States is imposing against Iran. Those sanctions are still there. But the international sanction based on the UN Security Council resolution, or just most of the sanction of the EU, so it has been removed because of these negotiations.
So this breakthrough, of course, has many people in the international community talking about the tremendous potential of the Iranian market, and especially here in Korea. Tell us a little bit about what the specific benefits are for Korea specifically and internationally of this new opportunity for trade.
Just Iran is the big market and big economy. We are the second largest economy after the Middle East and North Africa. We have the second and the largest by 80 million population, the second largest market in the region. And also, as far as the natural resources is concerned, just for the oil reserve, we are the fourth largest in the world. For the natural gas, we are in the second. So just I tell you that if you put together the potential consumer market of Turkey, the oil reserve of Saudi Arabia, the gas reserve of the Russia, and the natural resources of Australia, and then you're talking about Iran. So this is the
Well
things
put.
that this is the market that we are talking about, and of course that is the reason that it is a lot of interest and eagerness from the outsider. I mean, just the foreign companies to come and to do the business or just to resume their business in Iran.
So on the other side, you mentioned looking from the outside on the potential for Iran, but on the other side, of course, there's been a large amount of $100 billion in assets which have now been unfrozen. Are there also opportunities or interest in Iran in investing in the world and around?
Yes,
in
but
Korea?
no, mostly our priority is that to putting just investing and working for the development of inside of Iran. For example, in the case of the oil and gas development project,
Right.
we recently introduced almost 50 projects worth of $185 billion
Right.
for the next 5 years.
Right.
So for all those development projects, only on the sector of the oil and gas, we need that amount of money. Right. So we are emphasizing, or just the main priority is just investing inside of Iran, and also to receiving the foreign investment as well as the advanced technology of from the other countries.
So I understand in that respect that there have been efforts to attract foreign investment from countries like Korea, and that now, of course, with the lifting of sanctions, such business will be much more attractive. What do you think from the Korean perspective, right? Korean business. What's the most attractive about Iran as a business partner?
No, I tell you that the Korean companies, they have almost the long record of presence and
Right.
existence and involvement in the Iranian market.
Right.
And I tell you that they have a good advantage as far as that they have their own branch and office in Tehran.
Right.
So they know and they are familiar with the market.
Right.
And the second, they have a very good reputation.
Right.
I mean, just the Korean companies, as far as the project development, the project development project is concerned, they are doing on time, and so they have a very good record.
Right.
And also for the Korean products, they are a very good quality, and the Iranian customer, they are satisfied with that. So these are a good asset
Right.
for the Korean companies, just to invest in Iran and to build up and to increase their presence and business in Iran.
Right. Right. So are there specific Korean brands or companies that have been successful that you might note? Or
Yes, of course. Just before the sanction, some of those companies that they were involved fully in the development of the project, the infrastructure project
Right.
in Iran, such as the Dalim Industrial,
Right.
just the Hyundai,
Right,
the engineering and construction company, the Samsung the engineering and construction company.
Right.
So they were involved in Iran. And now they are returning back and just hopefully increasing their presence in the Iranian market. Of course, for the products, the products of the Samsung is and LG,
Right.
they are mostly getting most of the most percentage of the Iranian market.
Interesting. So specifically in terms of future relations, my understanding is that there's an Iran-Korea Joint Economic Committee, which is going to be meeting later this month. That is February. And also that Korea will send an economic delegation to Tehran for discussion about opportunities. And then finally, I guess the most sort of historic is the possibility of President Park Geun-hye of the Republic of Korea actually visiting Iran on a formal state visit.
Yes, just as you mentioned, later on in this month, by the February 29th, there is going to be scheduled that the Joint Economic Commission in the ministerial level, it would be held in Tehran.
Excellent.
And the Minister of the Trade, Energy, the Trade Industry and Energy of Korea will go to Tehran. I think for that economic joint commission, it is a very good framework that we put all the issues on the table and to discuss about the current issue and just in somehow to explore for the new the possibility that we can go. In simultaneously and alongside of that joint commission, we are going to have the business forum in Iran again, and that is for the private sector.
Right.
And I heard that more than 100 the representative of the company, the Korean companies, are going to Tehran, and they are going to have that business forum, which is very important in the private sector as well. For the visit of Her Excellency, the Madam Park, President of Korea, to go to Tehran, yes, we were informed also that they have such a willingness and made the decision that to go. We welcome, and I'm sure that it would be a historical event in somehow in our diplomatic relation, and I'm sure her visit to Tehran will open a new chapter for increasing of the friendly relation between Iran and South Korea.
You talked about economic and business relations. Other exchanges, whether academic or cultural, anything else that you imagine?
Yes, already you know that in the Hankook Foreign Studies or Foreign Language University, here there is the Department of the Persian language.
Where your associate is teaching.
Yes, yes. And we have we are sending some scholar or just a lecturer for that department. And we have a good relation with that department. It would be very helpful. Right. Of course, if we will have, I mean, just in the new situation, surely we are after increasing of the cultural relation between two countries as well. I'm sure that we should not just limit or restrict our relation for the economic or just diplomatic visit. Right. Of course, we like to have or to increase the people to people and the exchange of the delegation and increase the cultural activity between two countries.
Right. So one of the unique aspects of your experience, Ambassador, is you served yourself in North Korea as well, and first in South Korea, then in North Korea in 1992, 1993, and now you're here, of course, representing the Islamic Republic of Iran to both South Korea and to North Korea. Can you tell us from your own observations a little bit about what are some of the differences, the cultural and habits between the two Koreas?
No, just first let me make the one correction.
Please.
Now, we have our own resident embassy in Pyongyang.
Yes.
And I'm now not the ambassador of Iran to North Korea. No, just only I'm representing Iran in South Korea, and just I'm the ambassador of Iran in South Korea. Of course, we have, as I said, our own embassy in, of course, is small and very few staff. Our embassy in Pyongyang, but no, I'm just working and concentrating on focusing the relation between Iran and South Korea.
Right. Which is itself a lot of work, I'm sure.
Oh, yes, yes, of course, of course. But I'm very happy to be busy on the right direction. Right. Or for a very excellent cause or objective. Yes. So yes, we are busy with our relation with South Korea, but as I said, that is our job, and we are enjoying that to put a very little step for increasing and bringing two countries closer and closer to each other.
Right. So could I ask a little bit about Iran's relationships with North Korea? Because of course, as you know, this issue of nuclear programs has been an issue with North Korea as well.
Just, no, we have now a very normal relation with North Korea. Of course, in the time of Iran-Iraq war that Iraq invaded Iran,
yes.
On those 8 years of the war, just the North Korea provided some military assistance to us. So we had very good relation and appreciative for those helps that they provided for Iran. But after that, just by the nature of the relation between Iran and North Korea, we have a very limited and very small connection with that country, because you know that that country is has a very small transaction with all the world. So
right.
it is a very naturally there is not much that we can have with that country. But anyway, we have good and friendly relation with North Korea. As some other countries, they have their own embassy in Pyongyang, and we have this kind of relation.
Now, of course, North Korea, if we compare Iran and North Korea took the other option, right, to actually go so far as to actually develop nuclear weapons and even to test them. What is your stance vis-a-vis what North Korea has done in this whole nuclear weapons issue?
No, for the issue of the nuclear matter, it's completely by nature is a different situation in Iran and North Korea. Just in Iran, we do not want to have the nuclear bomb, and we are not going to that way, and it is not in our the security or just the defense strategy of Iran. So this is it. Right. But in the other case, for the North Korea, they already just 4 times they tested the nuclear bomb. So this is completely different. But for that matter, this is our principle that we are in favor of the denuclearization of the global denuclearization.
Excellent.
So as far as the Korean peninsula is concerned, also this is our the view that the Korea peninsula should be free of the nuclear the program as well.
Well, we hope all countries will be free.
Oh yes, this is our policy.
So today, Iran is considered to be the sole country really in the Middle East which has been relatively safe from the IS, Islamic State crisis. What are the prospects in the future in terms of Iran's cooperation in the response to IS and terrorism and cooperation with the United States?
This is very unfortunate that our region is facing these days with all these the problem and difficulty, and in somehow it is fortunate for Iranians that we have a very safe and good security inside of Iran. But anyway, just the terrorism and the violent extremism, they are the most threatening problem for the region, and it is a global challenge as well. And I'm sure that if there is going to be any real fighting with these terrorism, it should be, or it needs the cooperation of the all countries, and mainly just the regional countries. They should work together to just to fight and to control this menace and the problem of the terrorism in the region.
Right, right. So let me ask on a slightly different topic. Now, Iran, Persia has a very, very old history. At the same time, it's also a very young country. Some 70% of the population is under 30. That seems to have many very important implications in terms of competitiveness, in terms of the culture, its receptiveness, of course, to Korean culture. Tell us a little bit what it's like to be young in Iran today. And I hear that in many respects, and my impression is, it's become a very open society in many aspects.
Yes, we have a young generation, and they are very well educated.
Yes.
I think that as far as the number of the university students is concerned, we are in a very large percentage of the number of the university students, and there are a lot of youngsters that they are very well educated, and they are very energetic also. They have very the free society, and they are involved with in the art, in the culture, in the cinema, or just in the theater, in the sports, for example. In all the area, they are active, and we have a very free society.
Right.
So they are enjoying their life, and the result is just we will see a good the byproduct of this freedom. We will see that, okay, just in the sport, for example, or in the mathematics, in the science, and the new advanced technologies such as the nanotechnology, biotechnology, we are showing our good progress in these respects.
And I understand that the Korean culture today is receiving a very warm reception in Iran. For example, the Korean TV dramas, Taejanggeum from 2003 and Chumung 2008 has been well received. Tell us a little bit about how Iranians perceive Korean culture.
Yes, those the TV drama of the Korean TV drama, they were very popular in Iran.
Right.
And in some cases, when the television broadcasters those programs, you could see the effect of that showing in the traffic in Tehran as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it shows that it would be less traffic, and everybody goes or rush to watch those programs. And the artists, the actors, the actresses, they were very popular in Iran as well. And I think that maybe one of the reasons is that those cultural value that they projected
Right.
on those drama.
Right.
I mean, respecting the elders,
Right.
just the respecting the family values, you know. These are the things that are very similar to our culture. So it means that we are sharing those cultural values. And that was the reason that it was very popular. And I tell you that last year, we had the celebration in our New Year, which is started on the 21st of March. In Seoul, we had the reception for the all Iranian. And I invited the actress of that drama, the Jewel in the Palace.
Right.
And she was very kind enough to attend in our reception. So we appreciate, and we hopefully that even in the future, there would be more and more of these kind of the cultural exchange between Iran and Korea.
Excellent, excellent. And Ambassador Taherian, I understand you have a personal interest in Korean culture. You've had a chance to see some movies, read a bit of Korean literature yourself?
Yes, of course, I saw those the TV drama just as the other Iranian, and I enjoyed it.
Well, while you were in Iran, you saw them.
Yes, of course, yes, of course. They broadcasted some 5 or 6 years ago. Yes, back. So those days when I was in Tehran, and I watched it. And also, I attended one theater here. It was very wonderful. It was about this story of the Kushname and the Shila dynasty, and one Iranian prince, and another, that it is in your question later on. And I saw that theater as well. So yes, I'm interested, and I'm reading the books. Of course, not in Korean, because I don't know Korean except with some few words. So, but I'm enjoying studying the Korean culture and history as well.
Has some of the literature been translated into Persian as well?
Yes, just by that the department of the Persian department in the Hancock University, that you said, as I said, they translated some Persian literature to into Korean, and also just some Korean into the Persian. So yes, it is the possibility that if anybody can or find to be a little bit familiar or acquainted with the Korean literature, it is the possibility that they read it in Farsi as well.
So in the case of Korea, by contrast, Persian culture is a undiscovered blue ocean. What aspects of the Persian tradition of Iranian culture do you think might have appeal for Korea?
Yes, this is unfortunate that we are not too familiar here, and you know that we have just alongside of a long history, we have a very rich literature
Yes.
and poetry. So I think that on the case of the literature, we should emphasize that to those the books that to be translated into Korean, that the Korean to get more the information and to be informed about the Iranian literature or the Persian literature, it would be very good. And also we have a very famous, globally famous the poet. So I mean Hafiz, Sadi, Maulana, you know, all those the poets and their works can be just translated. I mean, can be just introduced to the Korean, and their books can be translated into Korean.
Now, to start off, in the case of Korea, there has been some exposure to some Iranian film directors, as Majid Majidi and Jafar Panahi, their works have been introduced. But I assume there's probably much more potential also.
Yes, of course. In the case of the film, in embassy, that we are thinking that in the near future we are going to have the week of the 1 week
Film
about
festival.
the Iranian, yes,
the
Iranian Film Festival here in Korea, and to show some of those films by a very well-known director, Iranian director. I mean, just one of the director, Iranian director, Asghar Farhadi, even he got the Oscar. So they are good and just supplying a good film, so it can be shown, and the people got more familiar with the Iranian films. Yes.
So, slightly different topic. In the case of sports, Iran has been remarkably successful in the field, the Korean sport of Taekwondo. Iran won gold medals in 2015 in the Olympics in Russia, and now it's considered a very strong contender for gold medals in Taekwondo in the Summer Olympics to be held in Rio de Janeiro. This is very curious how it is that Iran, in what's a traditionally Korean sport, produced athletes of such caliber.
For the Taekwondo, it is a very interesting story that as far as I know, we enjoyed to have one of the Korean master, Master Kong, of who is the master in Taekwondo. He was in Tehran, and he stayed in Tehran for a long time of 20 years.
Oh, really?
And yes, just he was very successful to train the Iranians and the Iranian youngsters. So I think that is one of the reasons that we had good in Taekwondo. But I'm just accept that fact. It is good, and it shows that the Iranian youngsters, they are very energetic, and yes, to show their talent in the sport. Of course, except the Taekwondo, we are good. I mean, just in the world, we are good for the wrestling, in the weightlifting, and even in the football, in the soccer. Also, we are good in the volleyball, for example. Yes,
Yes.
we are very well known and very competitive in the global level.
Excellent, excellent. So you've been here, you were here, of course, once before, back in the 1980s, and you're back here now in Korea as this sort of new economic prominence. What are your sense about how Korea has changed, and what do you think the underlying strengths within the Korean culture and the Korean economy are?
No, just the statistic for itself shows or speak for itself that the progress that this country made during the last 30 years, for example. And no, just they were very successful to have a good economic development,
Right.
and to make their country as a very advanced technology industry and based on the knowledge.
Right.
So I'm sure that they are very successful on this on these things. I think one of the reason or just the element it could help them that to make this Han River miracle that everybody say is that they put one objective, a main objective, and that was to have the economic development and to decide about the progress for their country. And they put all their whatever that they had in their capacity for reaching or just helping for reaching to that the final objective. So on reaching to that objective or just taking this objective,
right,
or the goal, they had a very good economic planning. They had a very hard working and disciplined the workforce. So these are all the elements help them to reach to this or just to take this this miracle.
And finally, in this very important year, historic year, I think, what particular plans do you have at the embassy to commemorate this new relationship, and your own personal goals in terms of how you'd like to mark this very important year?
No, just as I will see, we are starting the new year,
right,
with very good news of the removing of the sanction,
right,
the eagerness from the Korean companies to go to Tehran, and later on just the news of the visit of Her Excellency, the Madam Park, to go to Tehran. So all these things that we take it as a good luck for the starting our new year. And I'm sure that these news means that, okay, we have a lot of things to do for this year, and it kept us completely busy. And as I said, that I'm very happy that to be active on the way of the positive way, and to bring the country closer and to get to closer, and to do something in favor of both countries, and should be mutually interested and beneficial for the people of both countries.
Well, Ambassador Taherian, it's been a great pleasure hearing from you about Iran and the potential for the future. Thank you for joining us on G Lounge.
Okay, thank you very much again, just that you provide this opportunity for me, and I thank you as well. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
감사합니다.
감사합니다.